Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Megaman X8. In the last part we started off the game, and now it's time for us to start our usual maverick crawl with Earthrock Trilobyte's Metal Valley. Quell the Reploid Rebellion at the Metal Mine, and we get to choose whichever two of the three characters you want to bring along. In order to get everything in this stage on the first run that we can, we want to bring along Axel and Zero.
Let me introduce your new navigators.
Nice to meet you, hunters. My name is Lair. My specialty is analyzing enemy abilities. I hope I can be of use.
Hi, I'm Pallet. I'm good at analyzing routes through stages.
I don't suppose I need to say it, but I, Alia, will also assist in navigation. Before you head into battle, be sure to choose a navigator to assist you. Of course, if you're feeling confident, you can always choose to go it solo.
So Alia back in X5 on always gave us hints on what to do in stages and what was going on around us, but in this we actively have two more that give different information than Alia herself, but I tend to stick with her anyway.
Earthrock Trilobyte. Ready.
The minerals mined here are essential for space development. If you don't put down this rebellion, the Jacob Project could be in danger.
With that said, if you don't want the navigators trying to say something every like 20 seconds, you can just take no navigator, but again, because in X6 Beyond they made listening to Alia at any time optional, it's not a big deal in my eyes. So this stage is pretty self-explanatory.
You found a rare metal. With it, you can make a new chip. Be sure to stop by the lab when you get back to the hunter base.
So the first half of the stage or so is us being chased by this yellow Brontis mechanaloid, and you want to be careful in hard mode because this thing can take some pretty easy pot shots at you for a lot of your health. I'd say probably around a third of my current health to be taking out in a single swipe. So you're going to want to just speed forward and just use Zero's Saber to take out as many enemies in one shot as you can. But that rare metal there, I mentioned last time that this game kind of gets rid of some of the usual Mega Man X items, like heart tanks are not on the stage, those are only in the shops. Rare metals are where a lot of the other major pickups for the series are located. That's where our sub-tanks are going to be, where our weapon tank is, all that jazz. But they also have a lot of extra benefits for not only all three characters at once, but also individual weapons or abilities for them to take advantage of. And finding all the rare metals is needed for 100%, so we're going to get them all. For now, though, it's time for the mini-boss against the Brontis. We have a giant wall here with a switch at the top. When you hit it, it makes the crane slam into its head. Do that 3 times. It does take a second or two to cool down after use, so you kind of have to just bait out attacks otherwise. When you're high up towards the switch, it likes to do a laser that, if you're Axel, you can just kind of hover to the side from. But if you're on the wall or at the floor, it has 2 different punch attacks, where it'll either try to punch downward into the ground to hit you, or punch the wall to try to knock you off of it. It's not exactly hard, but you can take a lot of damage here pretty quickly if the laser hits you.
I'm picking up a strong signal from a large-scale mechanaloid there. Chase it down. You have to stop it before it self-destructs.
So Alia makes it sound like we have to destroy the yellow Brontis before it reaches a certain point there a little bit, but no, you can just kind of let it walk off. It always stays a set distance from you. There's some rubber band AI going on here. But first, I want to hover with Axel across these girders to reach ourselves another rare metal.
You found a rare metal.
I'd say on average every stage has at least 1 rare metal, but I think the usual number a lot are going to have is 2. But we're not going to be able to grab them all on a first visit. In fact, I think in order to get 100% in this game, you're guaranteed to revisit at least 6 stages, no matter what. So I'm not exactly worried about routing with this one. But on the way back towards where we started the stage, we are going to be chasing this thing, and you want to shoot at it repeatedly, because while it doesn't have an HP bar, you might notice, every certain amount of damage we do to it, it knocks down a red metal, which is worth about, I think, 20 to 50? I forget the exact amount. Either way, this is a very good way to grind out metals, to buy things. In fact, I'd say by and large, barring one specific instance, this is probably the best place in the game to do this, period. I spent a lot of time here as X with a certain upgrade we're going to get later this part. In between parts to get the metals, I need to get more or less at least all the life ups for all 3 characters, because I'm going to need more than just that to do stuff in the game. I also recommend getting some of the weapon ups between parts, just particularly for what we do as the next stage to make it a little easier. Because especially on hard mode, the stage we tackle after this, Gigavolt Man of War, a bit of a nightmare on a hard mode first playthrough. And even then on a normal mode first playthrough, it can be still kind of rough. So let's talk about the navigators a little bit and their voices. Lair in particular is voiced by Meredith Taylor Perry, who is Rakoa in a lot of the Zeta Gundam stuff. Her specialization as a navigator is mostly about enemies and boss patterns, giving you hints in the stage about how enemies might work, what abilities they could have, or even minor hints about boss patterns. Palette is voiced by Chris Sims, who I remember most just as, I think the French princess in G Gundam. She specializes in routing you in a stage, particularly hinting you towards where rare metals or other items you can find are. So in that regard, if you're going for 100%, bringing Palette into a lot of stages is a good idea. Alia's sort of a mix of the two. She'll largely tell you about stage gimmicks, but also might give you hints about how bosses or where items could be. They do a good job at making them feel distinct, but you don't really need any of them after the first playthrough, it feels like, so you can just ignore them by and large. If memory serves, Alia is voiced by Marriott Sloiter, who is a whole bunch of one-off characters from G Gundam, if memory serves. I think her most consistent ones are like Domon's mom and one of Chibity's girls. The mechanoid signal is coming from just ahead. Be careful. Speaking of Chibity from G Gundam, he's also in this. He's Roger Rhodes, who is Vile. In fact, by and large, if you remember a lot of my commentary about Powered Up's voice cast and Maverick Hunter X's voice cast, this is the same one. It's even still Lucas Gilbert's in a Zero, who is my favorite Zero voice. Honestly, these are all my favorite voices for a lot of these characters, the ones from X8 and Command Mission. I miss this voice cast a lot, especially Mark Gotha. With that said, we got a little bit of a secondary mini-boss here against, well, Crystal Blocks trying to crush you into the walls. Now, this room can be something completely different depending on the order you go through stages, because at certain points, similarly to X3, certain enemies might show up in this room instead. It is slightly randomized, but you're going to run into them at least twice per playthrough, I would say. And it's part of the reason I'm doing the stages in the order I am, just to hopefully avoid doing a certain mini-boss down the line. But how do you feel about a third mini-boss? Because the Elebrontis is back. But this time, we're in a little L-shaped platform arrangement that we need to use effectively to take him out. There's two switches on either side of the stage with the same crane from the first mini-boss. You just gotta hope you can slam it into the head, and if you do that like 5 times, it's over. It can punch you, it can grab you, and if it does that, you need to press L2 to do the character swap. I actually got that wrong last time. And it also has a laser that Axel can just completely fly over. X8 does a lot to try to make each stage have its own little unique thing that it has going on. And I think it generally works out. There's only really 2 stages I don't really like. This stage I don't like in some regards, but it's really good for farming down the line, so it kind of balances out. Enough conks on the noggin, though, and the Elebrontis is out for the count, and we can move on to the Maverick, who, for future reference, is weak against Gravity and Tanyan's weapon. We won't get to see what it does to him, though, until the boss rush.
Axel, can you hear me?
It looks like the target up ahead is wearing some kind of special armor. The armor is made to deflect shots fired at it, but there must be some way to break it. This is kind of a unique fight in that regard, honestly.
Warning. Warning.
The minerals we mine here are essential to the development of space. I don't suppose a half-baked prototype like you could guess what I'm getting at.
You Mavericks never made a lick of sense to me.
I've been chosen and you've been left behind. You'll never be as brilliant as me.
While Earthrock Trilobyte does have the armor that Alia brought up, you can knock it off in any of the 3 ways she talked about destroying shields in the intro stage, either hammering endlessly with Axel, the third slash of Zero's combo, or just X's charge shot. And when you do that, he's just going to run around to try and either get back into his armor or charge into you. When he has his armor, though, he's going to be doing most of his attacks, which are either charging across the room, throwing a little bouncing crystal, sort of like that one Castlevania sub-weapon I don't like in those games, or summoning 2 crystal walls, sometimes 3 later in the fight, that he can walk into to knock down into you, sort of like a domino, but you can just kick up or jump up to the top of them anyway. The big threat, especially on a first run, is his overdrive attack. This is something every boss in the game has that they start using around the halfway point of their health to 1/4 mark of their health, I'd say, depending on the boss. Earthrock Trilobyte is pretty straightforward. He generates several crystal walls in a row that are either too high or too low, so you just kind of bob and weave between them very quickly. And there we get to see something neat. Whenever you get close to dying in this game, if a character's HP is fully reduced, they automatically swap to your other controlling character. And you need to hope that they are high enough on health.
Weapon get.
I love that weapon get theme. At the end of every stage, you are ranked based off your clear time, foes defeated, and combo, and if you got hit at all, from I think D up to S, but this doesn't really matter besides I think the record screen you can find on the R&D lab.
Welcome back! The rare metal you found has been made into a new chip. Rare metals contain powerful properties that are perfect for chip making. If you manage to find a rare metal, be sure to bring it to the lab as soon as you can.
If memory serves, the 2 rare metals we got in that stage, by the way, give you the rare life bottle full, which allows you to basically have a temporary E-tank that will recover you up to max at least once. And Zero's double barrier, which I believe increases the invincibility frame length after you get hit. I might be wrong on that one. But like I said last time, since we're on hard mode, I recommend focusing on getting life ups for every character. There's, I think, 3 each, and I think that's going to take at least like 15,000, but we not only get a good bonus for beating a boss fight for the first time, but like I said, using the yellow Brontos as a fleas is a really good way to get medals early on. So I'm going to be taking advantage of that. I forget if I do it in a jump cut coming up here, or if I do that in between parts. Either way, next part I will have all the life ups for all 3 characters. Doesn't take that long, I'd say maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes to grind up all that, but it is worth it in the long run on hard mode. Normal mode doesn't need it nearly as much.
Darn!
X? What's the matter? The mission's only just begun.
That's right. It's begun again. How long must this war go on? Just the thought of wiping the floor with those Mavericks makes my trigger finger itch.
Axel!
No, Aelia. Axel's right. There's no time to be wishy-washy here. Even as we speak, Mavericks are causing havoc.
Between every stage, you do get another cutscene. It doesn't matter which stage you complete. But now, while we've done stuff at Earthrock Trilobyte stage, we can now access Noah's Park again, the intro stage. And we want to do that because there's active rare metals and items to grab here that you couldn't get on the first run. First off, if you don't have access, you do need to have at least 0 round to double jump up here to get back up to this part of the stage. But the first rare metal is actually right here as well. It's in this platform right above us. Looks like there's a ledge above you. If you jump high enough, you can reach it. Indeed. If memory serves, this rare metal is the weapon bottle full, which is a one-use full weapon energy restoration for a single weapon, or maybe it's all weapons. I seldom use it. The next item is during the section we initially played as only 0 last part. This door is now open, and behind it lies our first Dr. Light capsule.
X, I thought something like this might happen someday, so I've prepared parts for you. First, I'll give you the neutral armor. You can power up this armor by adding parts to it. I have new parts for you. They're Buster Parts I. Equip this part, and you'll gain the ability to perform new kinds of charge attacks. Equip this new ability and board the capsule next.
Time for the good old armor swap, and I both love and hate this armor design for reasons, but they do something really cool with the armor in this game, and that it's something fans have wanted since at least X5.
I hope this is the last time we need to use weapons of war like this, X. I really do.
So the armor in X8 all uses this design, but there's 2 sets that do different things, and you can mix and match them. You do get the Buster Parts here, though, which allows you to charge your special weapons, and this is very important for Crystal Wall that we got from Earthrock Trilobyte, because it allows you to not only pick items up out of the ground like weapon energy, it also allows you to find rare metals buried in the ground in certain places. There is one more item we need to get in that stage, but we're not going to be able to get that until we have one of the later head parts, so we're going to need to come back to that stage another time. The charge shot, by the way, for that particular armor is really good because it's a giant laser that just fires in front of you and can hit multiple times. And that's really important for the aforementioned yellow Brontis metal farming I'm going to be doing between parts to get everyone's HP up to its max. Also, I am going to be showcasing the full chip dev menu every time just so you can see what I'm doing, but it also gives me time to talk about the Maverick weapons, because the weapon get screen is pretty brief and doesn't do a good job at showcasing what the weapons do exactly. Now that we have the ability to charge up our special weapons, though, I'm going to immediately head back into Metal Valley to grab a single rare metal, as well as do some early metal grinding to get stuff between stages. With that said, you don't have to worry about metal grinding or getting rare metals if you're playing the game on easy mode, for several reasons. For one thing, easy mode starts you with all of the life power-ups, so I don't need to worry about getting them in case you're taking a lot of damage. But also, you just straight up can't find rare metals in any of the stages on easy mode. You just get upgrades as you complete stages. Additionally, all enemies and bosses, I think, are at, I think it's half damage or half HP. Either way, you don't have to worry about a lot. But there are some genuine drawbacks to playing the game on easy mode that we'll cover towards the end of the game. I recommend starting the game on normal mode overall. Hard mode's biggest benefit, barring some extra cutscenes, is that enemies and bosses, I think, have double health and much stronger shields. Normal mode is the way to play X8, I would recommend. Again, I'm only doing this for exactly 2 cutscenes, actually, now that I think about it, not even just 1. And they're very minor. So here's the metal grinding strat. You just kind of let it get a few steps ahead of you since it rubber bands to try and keep you on screen. And just charge at its feet, and it drops metals like nothing else, and you can get a lot of metals really quickly doing this. And again, I recommend doing that on hard mode, especially in order to get all the HP and weapon ups you can as early as you can. But to help with that is the rare metal hidden here that you can get with Charged Crystal Wall. That one I know for a fact is the metal discount, which reduces the price of all other items in the shop after you buy it by 10%. If you're doing metal grinding, this is very worth it because it just reduces the amount you're going to need overall, even though it only alleviates the problem somewhat, because if you're trying to get 100% on all the characters, you need, I think, over 40,000 metals, plus I forget the exact amount because I can't count that high. Thankfully, once the robot jumps off screen right there, you can just use the exit command you have by default to head to the R&D lab, and you'll keep all the metals and items you grabbed along the way. Your ranking technically suffers for this, but again, ranking doesn't really matter, so oh well. Also notably, this is the only screen in the game Cygnus appears in. He's not in any of the game's cutscenes, he's only there to be like, hey, good job, and that's it. Also, I should note, for beating Earthrock Trilobyte, we've already seen Crystal Wall with X, but Zero gets the Zekyodon, which changes his saber's color and allows him to either destroy or deflect projectiles, I forget which. Whereas Axel gets the Bound Blaster, which reflects off floors and walls to just become that weapon from Castlevania I brought up earlier. I don't really like it a lot. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 3, we're going to head after some more Mavericks. See you guys then.